Hello and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick, and today we are doing something very much out of the ordinary for me. We're checking out a anime influenced, infused kind of war sim strategy, very strange type of game. It's called War of the Human Tanks. I haven't actually played anything like this on the show before, and I have a couple reasons why I haven't, but I have also some reasons why I am today. So the reasons why I haven't are essentially in this game, and I only know this because I did quite a bit of checking this one out just to set up for recording, and it sort of led to me playing it a little bit. And you know I normally like to do these videos somewhat blind. In this case, it's going to be a little bit less blind. But so some of the reasons that I don't usually do these types of games are this is very heavy on text and reading, character development. It's a slow kind of draw. I have no problem with the art style, but this isn't heavily artistic. It's more functional than form. And it just, in general, it's kind of on the slow side. I mean, just pacing-wise. But the reason I'm doing this today are, well, a couple of reasons. Number one, indie gaming is a huge breadth of different genres and all kinds of different games, and I don't want to just pigeonhole myself into only doing a few types of genres. I mean, I have a bajillion platformers on the channel, clearly, and I'm also going to go through the system options here so you can see this stuff while I'm doing it. But yeah, this is, I mean, a war strategy type game with a lot of text and reading, sort of an RPG influence. Very different stuff, so I did think it needed to be shown off. I know a lot of you guys out there do actually like the strategy stuff, and it's just not such my cup of tea, per se. I'm not going to say it's bad by any means, but it's not for me, maybe. But I'm still going to go through and show you guys this one anyway, and in the hopes that, you know, a couple of you out there might find it interesting. And also, I have a few codes of it to give away. I have actually 3 codes, so if you guys end up liking this one or are interested by it, maybe want to try out some more, just leave a comment requesting that you be entered for the drawing. Just, you know, whatever you want to write. Just say, you know, I want to be in the drawing for this. I'll let a couple days go by, and then I'll pick 3 people at random of the people who requested that. So, yeah, those are basically the reasons for this. Like I said, it's not typical for me to want to do this type of thing, but we're going to try it out. And I do want you to take pretty much most of what I say with a huge grain of salt. Since I am not generally a huge strategy gamer, some of my opinions are going to be a little bit, I'm not going to say biased, but ignorant. I just generally don't have the patience for a lot of these types of things, and I also am going to miss a lot of the culture references. This is clearly incredibly Japanese-influenced game, and I like that stuff generally, and I like anime generally, I like some manga. But this one, it goes a little far with that in a way. I'm just going to start it up and you can see what I'm talking about. It's very cinematic in its presentation. It's basically like watching an episode of an anime. I'm not going to probably read too much of this stuff, so I want you guys to try and, you know, maybe keep up with the text. I'll go a little bit on the slow side here so you can read along with me here. But I'm just sort of going to keep talking. So there's all these different characters. Right now we're not naming them yet. But they're human tanks, and I don't think they made it incredibly clear whether human tanks are metaphorical or physical. Like, I can't quite tell if they're android people running around shooting at each other, or if we're calling them human tanks because there's a reason. Like, are we glorifying these soldiers? I don't know. Cock the rifle in your hands, absolutely. So next up, they'll come after your assault tank at X8Y. So I wasn't sure what the gameplay was going to end up being in this one, and I felt like at first when I saw these coordinates, I was like, are we going to be playing Battleship here? And then we've got these, I don't want this to come off insulting, but they look like photos, you know, taken with a camera, done up in Photoshop with a few filters. I don't feel like that's incredibly conducive to the art style that they're going here. The characters are all really well drawn. They all have this really cohesive art style, and I feel like these photos sort of take me away from that a little bit. But it also might be because I have a background in design and I've spent too much time looking at stuff like this, so I might be able to diagnose that type of thing easier than your average person. There's also a lot of UI elements coming up. They stick with this very I don't know if it's edgy, but it's, I don't know, very sharp edges, at least. I'm probably using edgy in the wrong way here. These are also transparent and seem to bleed through each other. I would have probably made this cut into this instead of having it continue on back into the text, but whatever. So, I'll just keep on scrolling through this text here. You guys can read up on this as we go. We're setting up a conflict, obviously. More human tanks. There's also... I've noticed it seems like a lot of them seem to be ladies for some reason. Hit on the tank, it's fallen silent. So I think they're quite literally human tanks. Like, they're actually people that are tanks. Unless we're calling tanks soldiers. That's the thing I can't quite wrap my mind around. Why are we using the word tank specifically? Report on the location. Where was it hit? Well, X8, Y6. I mean, it's not the most relevant to know the coordinates when we don't have any sort of frame of reference for any of this stuff at this point. Alright, so now we're going to start introducing characters, I suppose. Chiyoko Daihane, I think is roughly how you would say that. I'm not great at that, but it looks like they sort of Americanized the pronunciation for us. Big Bro is nice. So nice he's giving out advice. Okay. The captain of the human tank unit. So we're supposed to be following along here with the story. As you know, when I do my videos, I tend to be a little bit on the blind side when it comes to following along with intricate stories, and this is intricate to the level, like, when I'm giving it my full attention, I'm still going to miss a few details, so I'm feeling like it might be a little bit of a lost cause to try and follow along completely. So I'm going to leave that to you guys. If you want to read this, you can just, click on that little, there's a little speaker with the waves coming out. Just click on that. It'll put an X over it. You guys can just read, minus my talking. But I do want to give some compliments, though. The music, very cool stuff. I really enjoyed the music so far. And again, the art style on the like the chibi anime-looking characters, really well done. Very good stuff there. In the meantime, a pincer attack will silence the rear. Okay. I don't know what that means. Shutaro Daihane. You're gonna lose at this rate. Are you okay with that? I don't want to lose. We're just advisors. The captain keeps ignoring us and lose the battle. She only have herself to blame. But... okay, so, and I was saying before, like, it seems like they set this up like each episode, and I use the word episode here specifically because they actually sort of structured the chapters of the game as if they may be episodes in an anime. And I think that's an interesting stylistic decision, might be a good one. And it does definitely set up the game to feel like the scope of it is going to be massive. Like, I don't know how long this game is. I did check out a little bit on the website and stuff just to see a little bit more background information about this game. Looks like it's got a few chapters, but, with all of the text and stuff filling in, it's a little tough to say, like, how long each chapter is going to be in terms of minutes or hours. It could vary wildly depending on how much characterization they want to put in. Your enemy stands before you, and these cuts with the large text, I mean, that seems maybe a little bit out of character. Like, this is what would happen if we were looking at this like a cutscene, if this was going on without us clicking, but the text is all me manually pushing us through it. So having these big shout-out, yeah, like these things, pull the triggers and annihilate them, and that also seems very hyperbolic. Like, I got to the gameplay, and the gameplay is one of those sort of like hex-based, you would think it's turn-based, but it's not. It's actually real-time. Kind of a hardcore strategy game. And it's so out of my like, I really didn't play hardly any of those games in my life, so it's way far removed from what I have references to. I know there's a lot of them out there, it's just not something I've ever been super into. But again, I do know that some of you guys are, like, also very emphatic about that type of gameplay. And I'm not trying to say that that stuff is not valid, it totally is, it's just not my cup of tea. So... alright, let's see if we can... okay, don't worry, the day will soon come. A lot of text to start the game out with. I know they want to set up some characters, and that's fine, but I feel like we need to ease into the gameplay more so than work on the characters. And then we've got an actual anime-looking intro here. I'll shut up for a minute and let you guys listen. Reminds me a little bit of the introduction to, like, Full Metal Alchemist or something. Or Blaze Blue, for that matter. It almost seems like we're breaking the, what is it, the fourth wall, talking directly to the player. To all the human tanks, like, it seems like they're talking to us. More so than just existing within this universe that they've created. But it's really hard to say. I mean, they seem very, very into the universe. And the music still seems nice. It seems a little subdued, maybe. I know a lot of these anime intros seem to be extremely, like, in your face. And I think they've sort of made up for a lot of the, like, hardcore flashy animation that usually accompanies that with, like, still images and filters and effects and stuff, which, for a budget, I mean, I'm sure that's probably what was going on there. I do like this art, though. This is definitely nice. I still don't know if I'm supposed to feel bad for them, like, if they're shooting each other. Actually, in the game, I think when we get to the actual gameplay part, they tend to explode. They don't just, like, fall over in a heap, so maybe they are actually cybernetic-type cyborgy people. I also feel bad shooting a bunch of girls, too, and that's sort of rude. Alright, so that's the cutscene. Now we've got some more characterization to do. It has already been 20 years since the first human tank was developed. The Empire of Japan once ruled the entire land of Japan. Okay, so the Empire of Japan once ruled the entire land, but they have not been doing that for a while. That's now but history. In the course of the kingdom's attempt to invade the Empire's last territories begins the story of our hero and his company. Fellows, we have lost yet another battle. And of course they're keeping us up to date with what location geographically we're in. This is the Imperial Army HQ Strategy Council. Kingdom's human tanks are extraordinary in performance. Can we not capture a couple of them? Do you forget how we once managed to seize one and discover there was little difference from ours? So you're implying that this series of defeats is not due to the lacking performance of our tanks? You guys just don't want it enough, apparently. You also know why, do you not? That kingdom battery is sitting right on the edge of the territory under our direct rule. That's the biggest obstacle in attacking them. Alright, well, we're doing more development here. You guys can keep reading on that. I've got this... It's very sort of a vague shot, like, this is to, I guess, set us up in a position as so we maybe know where we are, but it's pretty obtuse. Like, this is a window, man. I don't know. Before we were looking at the sky, now we're looking at a window. Sometimes we're looking at a forest. I wish we had a little bit more specificity with regard to the universe when it comes to, like, the graphical elements. It seems like we're kind of coasting a lot on text development, and that's fine, but I mean, this isn't... I don't feel like this is a visual novel, or is it? Maybe it is. With the gameplay really riding shotgun to development, and if that's the case, then I totally feel bad for ragging on it a little bit, but I'm not sure. It's not really clear to me which way we're going on that. Okay, so then we've got this hit of, like, violence, which seems a little contradictory because we've been sort of, so far, leading up to that things are sort of cute and happy, but it's also kind of violent. I mean, that's a weird juxtaposition to have. Daihune Unfrozen. So this is episode 1. We've got another one of those setup shots, and now we're looking at the sky. Okay. It's territory directly governed by the Imperial Japanese Army Headquarters. I think what we're doing is we're going for this, like, slightly left of center, like, parallel universe where things are, like, almost like we expect them to be, but they're sort of cute and chibi, yet they're still based in some sort of reality. I think the problem with me is I'm just not grabbing the vibe exactly. I feel like just a little bit more of, like, the developer saying, hey, guys, like, this is what we're trying to do here, so you can get on board, but, like, I'm missing what they're trying to tell us between the lines, and I guess I'm sort of just reading it all so literally, because I don't know if I'm supposed to read it literally. We've got cola, big bro. Yeah, a nice place, it looks like. So we're 15 minutes or so into this episode now. I mean, we've got, what was it, about 2-3 minutes worth of setup at the beginning before we actually got in. But we haven't actually reached any gameplay yet. I find that a little bit disturbing myself, just because, I mean, call it instant gratification culture or whatnot, but I feel like I want to know what I'm about to play. Even if it's just a little bit of a tutorial or some sort of a hit of gameplay just at the very beginning to let us know this is the type of environment we're going to expect to get into when we get further in, and then work on some of the character development and stuff, or ease into it a little bit more. But I think if anything, this does go to reinforce that this is more story-heavy than game-driven. Because like I said, this is all about my perspective on this. Whether I'm seeing this one way or the other, it's going to determine whether or not I'm feeling like it's valid. And I think if I'm just looking at it wrong, that's really my fault. That's not the game's fault. But I do want you guys to know what you're getting into here if you pick this one up. I mean, this is definitely story-heavy. So, more characterization. I didn't find that the way it's written, I don't find it particularly compelling either. Like, I don't find it super funny. It just sort of seems a little superficial or something. I don't want to be too rough on these guys, because again, I'm just probably missing the point here. But I feel like I can't get by on just, like, anime alone. Like, the fact that this is referential or something. I'm probably just in the wrong demographic here is really all it is. And I've sort of admitted that about 200 times as we've been progressing. I think on several levels I'm probably out of my element. So I think pretty soon I might start hyper-clicking through all of this so we can get to the gameplay. I don't know how many. This has been like several hundred text boxes. And I really don't want to downplay that story, you know, is an important element to games. It totally is. I just think you have to also consider pacing. And you have to really sort of work with the player. And it might be because I'm American, it might be because I'm from the wrong background, that maybe this puts me off a little bit more than it should. Would you like me to put you to sleep for good and all? Just kidding, anyway. Alright, I think we're getting close. This path leads to a cliff too steep for human tanks to climb. Like, what does that mean? Are they tanks? Are they... I don't get it. We cannot return fire because we have no tank capable of shooting from this distance. What is it, big bro? Get Masamune here. And by the way, I apologize for my horrible pronunciations. I'm sure I'm probably wrong on half of this stuff. If I am, like I said, I apologize. You might as well not bother commenting on it, though, because it's not going to make a huge difference. I don't want it to turn out into, like, the whole LD24 discussion where we just went back and forth about correct pronunciation and ignored the content of the actual video. I find that to be a little bit of a sad thing. Oh, I also want to show you the escape menu, because this actually sets up the theme a little bit. So we've got save, load, pause, root, which shows us like a map, title screen to go back to the beginning, quit, obviously, and close brings us right back to where we were. Text speed, movie, we can turn on and off, battle speed. I'm going to put that on minimum, actually, because it seemed like it was going kind of fast to me. Battle animation on, off, whatever. Scenario skip, I don't know what that one actually does. Let's throw a save in real quick, why not? So everything's got this same diamond element thing to it. You'll notice that when we get to the actual gameplay, the UI is very, very busy. I think we're actually maybe... Oh, okay, here we go. Alright, master all the human tank types. The key to victory is to direct the tanks according to their classes. So we have a little bit of a tutorialization here. We've got a command unit. It's the leader of the unit. Lose them and be defeated. We need to keep these ones in charge. We've got shock units, which look like sad little girls crying because they're going to explode. Self-destructs, taking out nearby enemies. Scouts, which locate enemies with the recon command. Battery, which barrage distant enemies with a missile launcher. Those seem important. And assault, happy-go-lucky strike unit armed with an assault rifle. It's like a really weird thing. Like, they're happy, but they're gonna kill stuff. I don't know, maybe it's a Japanese thing. Activate the units as soon as you see the connect marker on their icon. Every second units are idle with their connect marker delays their next turn. So you're supposed to do this super fast, I guess. Enemies are hiding in unknown blocks. Use the recon command to seek them out. The enemy leader is hiding around here. Okay, so up in the top, clearly. Scout and destroy it with the infinite range battery. Alright, I already forgot what the units are. Battery is this one, maybe? Try to narrow down enemy locations by using recon frequently to reveal the map, and shoot into unknown areas to destroy enemies before you even spot them. Alright, so this is a loading screen. And here we go. So the game is going to start up. Since we weren't really given a lot of instruction, I mean, we were given like a very basic one, but there's no like, here's how you play the game. Like, here's a tutorial mock-up fight. I guess that's probably what this is trying to be. No troop has ever gotten close to the... Yeah, so I feel like I'm a little bit unprepared to start fighting here. Are there any other tanks besides them? Probably not. The victory is ours. We can destroy the command tank. I equipped Heshiko with a few modules. Now she can scout a much greater area. And we've got the infinite range battery. Alright, so they really do want to keep reminding us about that infinite range rocket launcher. I don't think I got that the first time I got to this point. Roger that. Alright, let's give a big shot to liven them up. Alright, so we fired off... Oh, okay, so it's this girl right here, I guess. Shot made them notice us. Why would we want to do that? Even though we win if we take down the enemy command tank. Did you forget we also lose alongside ours? Ha ha ha, okay. Alright, so they're just sort of inept at fighting, and they just sort of don't know what they're doing, which makes me feel a little bit better. For the love of God, we could have brought down the enemy command unit alone. No point in crying over spilled milk. Target is the enemy command tank, and that's it. So what are we supposed to do exactly? There are enemy tanks running down toward us. Protect Hishiko and Masamune from them. Alright, so the command and the battery, we need to protect those. You can seek them out with the recon command, so destroy them as soon as you find them. But didn't you say the enemy command unit is high up to the left of us? An ordinary tank will have to get close to attack, but Masamune is capable of shooting wherever the enemy is. So we have Masamune attack the enemy command tank while protecting her, huh? Hishiko and Mike can scout the upper left area as well, seek the enemies out and attack them. We have to attack and defend at the same time, eh? What a hassle. Go for it, big bro. The battle's about to begin. If you want any of your units to attack, wait until the connect marker pops up, which is, I believe, this thing over here. Commence the operation. Move out. Okay, I'm immediately... Oh, I can't save. Crap. This is exactly what I need to save, because if you die here, you just get dropped back at the title screen, and that is not pleasant. Alright, so this is our infinite range one, right? Alright, we've got an infinite battery module. I don't know what that means, really, but... What do I do now? System, options, log, no, object, that's victory conditions. Alright, I can't attack, so that's something. I hit escape, alright, that brings me back out. What do? You have a rifle? Oh, because connect hasn't happened, I guess, so I need to wait for that to happen. Got it. Attack. I'm attacking here. What happened? Anything? No idea. Alright, so nothing happened. Maybe I didn't hit any... Oh. It says something was hit. Okay, something just happened. I think a lady just showed up and exploded and took out one of my units. That sucks. I didn't even get to hardly do anything. So again, this is in real time. I don't have really a lot to do about it, though, except for wait. Let's move over here and use... Can we use recon? Yeah. Let's recon this area, see if stuff's coming. Okay, that one's coming. Can we use our infinite range battery to attack? Yes, because we can see that one. So we're going to use this recon unit to spot stuff ahead, and then we're going to try and shoot it with the infinite range, because all these ones, they can't do much of anything with that. Alright, so now we just wait for them to connect again. These guys are just going to sit here. Someone could just show up and just explode me all of a sudden, which is kind of likely to happen, actually. Still doesn't say connect. Oh, and there's that. So my recon unit is dead. One shot seems to kill them. And now I'm pretty much done. I guess I can move here to the choke point. Oh, I didn't mean to attack. I meant to move. Crap. Well, I may have hit something anyway. Can I move this one, maybe? Well, I don't have the choke point anymore. And I can't see anyone standing next to me, so I guess that's kind of useless. Stand by. I guess I could take another arbitrary shot over here somewhere. Hit? Oh, these are the coordinates. Okay, I didn't know what these things meant. And then, of course, I have to protect my commander here by moving her over somewhere better, I guess. Oh, she has... I didn't know she had recon also. Okay. Well, that actually helps a little bit. So we gotta wait again. And we can take another shot. We can also... I'm gonna wait one more tick and let this one move to this point. Oh, the recon went away. I don't know what just happened. Alright, let's attack again. Arbitrarily attack that corner. So this is kind of like Battleship a little bit. I don't know what's going on, man. Move. Can't recon. Stand by. You can recon, though. Can see you. Can I... Oh. I've already used up my moves. Like, I can only attack this far, so that's not going to help anybody. This one just going to stand around? Oh, okay, maybe not. Hopefully there's very, very few units here that I don't have to deal with. Alright, I see where you are. Attack. Maybe I'm just supposed to use these units as, like, fodder to keep them out from getting in. I can do another... I can move this one up again. Once that, I keep jumping the gun here, I just need to wait. Connect, connect. Oh, somebody just shot somebody else. I guess. Are they just attacking arbitrarily? What's going on here? No. Move. Then at least it'll have to pass by me if it's gonna show up. Stand by, and another random attack, I suppose. What tile have I done? This one? Let's attack that one. Oh, I just realized I'm retarded. I'm supposed to be using recon up here. Because attacking these units that I can't see is probably not doing anything for me at all. Even if I'm hitting them, it may not be doing anything. Okay, well, I apologize. I've just sort of made a complete waste out of this. Attack. I don't know which is the important one. This one. Alright, you're gonna get blown up. Alright, good. Did I win? No. Alright, let's recon some more. We know there's one in one of those tiles. Let's put it there. In case she moves, which she does. Looks like any troops over here are just kind of chilling now. Connect, attack. And explode. Enemy leggings was hit. Battleship sunk. Oh, okay, that was the command tank. We did it! Hooray! That was very implausible of a victory. I really probably shouldn't have won there, considering how inept I was at using my functions properly. But we pulled it out anyway. So, let's see what happens now. Destroy the enemy human tanks and suppress the artillery battery on the high ground. Charge. We did it. He so easily took over the battery, had been considered impregnable for years. So easily? Is that sarcasm? Just stating the truth as I see it. In actual fact, our losses are negligible. Alright, we get a rest now or something. Let's keep going. She exploded? First time seeing the end of a human tank? Not only that, but I've never seen any actual human tanks in my life until today. Wow. When a human tank reaches her age, she automatically detonates just like that. That's horrible. They didn't teach me it. Why would they need to do that? Of course they wouldn't. In general, human tanks die on the battlefield before their life runs out. Well, that battery must have been a brilliant tank. Brilliant? Yeah, does that make any sense that they'd be called brilliant if they're just... They have no human rights. I do know they don't. Hence, they're neither human-like rank distinctions for them, nor any praise no matter how well they fight. Okay, so we're dealing with one of those, like, transhumanistic type of arguments where it's like, is it human, is it not human? How do we know how to treat them? We can't seem to differentiate things that look like us from things that aren't us. Okay. Well, I guess that could be a slightly interesting way to set up a story. It's like all of a sudden it's sort of making a little bit of sense now. That's kind of nice. I'm glad I played it on to this point. Took over the Okawahara battery immediately after we let him loose, just as we predicted. Go. So, what is your opinion of them? Considering the result of the battle, I believe them to be a splendid army, sir. Splendid? No flattering, just be honest with us. In spite of the agreeable result, there is no discipline whatsoever in the troop. Why have you assigned me there, sir? Okay, so they're giving us more backstory. Kind of hoping we could wrap this episode up pretty soon. Again, my apologies for so quickly flipping through all this stuff, but you kind of get the point, right? Like, if I were to sit and read all of these, we would be looking at a 2-hour episode. Can't quite swing that today. So are there new tank types? Is that what we're hinting at here? And more classes? That was 3 different sets of dots. Okay, so this looks like we're getting a wrap-up FMV scene. Just like an episode of an anime. It looks kind of nice, I guess. I like that visualizer with the rainbow dots. That's cool. Maybe might as well get some credits on there as well. I think they deserve to have some credits. So I guess I'll take this moment to wrap up the episode then, because it seems like as good a time as any, and if you guys stuck it out for the 33 minutes so far, I definitely appreciate that. Again, I will remind you, leave a comment mentioning that you'd like to be entered for the drawing on the 3 copies of War of the Human Tanks, and I'll give it, I don't know, like 3 days, we'll say. And then I'll pick somebody, and I will get in contact with you via YouTube, or if you leave your email or whatever, or if you contact me on Twitter or Facebook, whatever it is, just make sure there's some way that I can contact you, and I will send you those codes, or that code, because I'm not giving you multiple anyway. So that will wrap us up. It's been an interesting, sort of a divisive episode. Hopefully a few of you guys appreciate this sort of game, and I do hope to help get the name out there, because, I mean, it seems like they put a lot of work into it. Clearly there's a lot of imagination, there's a lot of story going on, and some, looks like, possibly decent writing. I kind of have to play further into it to know, but so far, I mean, I started out being pretty iffy on it, but towards the end it started making a little bit more sense, so that's Fruitbat Factory for you. Fruitbat Factory, apparently it's hard to say. And that will do it for today's episode. Make sure you head on over to the website, which is www.indie-impressions.com. Stay up on all the new episodes, meet some cool people on the forums, check out some new indie games. Free and paid, they're all sorted, you know the deal. And don't forget my Facebook page, facebook.com/indieimpressions. And then, of course, the Twitters, @RockLeeSmile and @indieimpression. So we get our intro FMV cutscene again. And I think that will do it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember to enter the contest, let your friends know about it, maybe win a cool game. And I hope you enjoyed it. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. I do these episodes every day, and I hope to see you back for another one. Later, guys.